6 in the morning. Your alarm goes off. You drag yourself out of bed, stand in front of the mirror, and stare at your midsection. You let out a heavy sigh, telling yourself you will just have to eat even less today, and run a few extra miles on the treadmill. Do you really think that soft layer of fat you can pinch is your biggest enemy? Do you think it is all because of that heavy dinner you had last night? You are wrong. That pinchable fat is just the tip of the iceberg. The real enemy is a silent killer buried deep inside your abdomen, suffocating your liver, your intestines, and your heart. We are talking about visceral fat. And here is the brutal truth. Why is it that you and someone else can both eat exactly 1,500 calories, do the exact same workouts, yet they end up with a flat stomach while your waistline refuses to budge or even gets harder and larger? The answer is not hiding on the treadmill, and it has nothing to do with counting calories. It comes down to a primal survival hormone that is quietly locking away your fat cells: cortisol. Today, we are not going to talk about starving yourself or working out until you drop. Instead, we are going to dissect the actual biology behind the deadly connection between stress and visceral fat. More importantly, I will give you 5 scientific signals you can use right now to trick your body, drop your cortisol levels, and force your metabolism to finally unlock that stubborn belly fat. Why is it that when we are stressed out, we gain fat directly in our belly and not in our arms or legs? To understand this, we need to take a quick trip back in time, tens of thousands of years ago. Through the lens of evolution, your brain never learned the difference between running for your life from a wild predator and the modern stress of missing a deadline, fighting with your boss, or just tossing and turning all night. The moment your brain detects a threat, your adrenal glands flood your bloodstream with cortisol. This hormone sends a very clear, desperate message to your entire body. It screams, "Danger! A famine is coming. Hoard energy immediately." But why does all that emergency energy go straight to your gut? Here is the fascinating biology behind it. The fat cells deep inside your abdomen possess 4 times as many cortisol receptors as the regular fat under your skin. These receptors act like powerful magnets for stress hormones. A landmark study published in the year 2000 in the journal Psychosomatic Medicine by researchers at Yale University proved this perfectly. They found that women who reacted the most strongly to stress produced significantly more cortisol and, as a direct result, had much higher levels of abdominal fat. And this happened regardless of whether they were naturally thin or overweight. When you are chronically stressed, your cortisol levels stay elevated all day long. This constant flood of cortisol forcefully drives up your blood sugar, which drags your insulin levels right up with it. This specific combination, high cortisol and high insulin, is an absolute death sentence for weight loss. Together, they completely shut down an enzyme called hormone-sensitive lipase, or HSL. HSL is the only master key your body has to unlock and break down stored fat. Without it, your visceral fat is essentially frozen in place, completely locked down like a vault. You simply cannot burn belly fat while cortisol is holding your body hostage in survival mode. But you can hack the system. Here are the 5 exact steps to flip the switch and turn that survival mode off. Signal number 1. Reset your morning circadian rhythm using light and salt. You need to stop the cortisol chaos the exact second you open your eyes. To do this, we must bring this hormone back to its natural, biological rhythm. Here is the science. When natural sunlight hits your retinas, it sends a direct electrical signal straight to your hypothalamus. This instantly suppresses your sleep hormone, melatonin, and establishes your healthy, natural morning cortisol peak. At the exact same time, drinking a glass of water mixed with a little bit of sea salt provides immediate support to your adrenal glands. The natural sodium and minerals reduce the burden on your body to produce aldosterone, which perfectly balances your HPA axis. Here is your daily action plan. Within the very first 30 minutes of waking up, step outside and get 10 to 15 minutes of natural sunlight on your face and in your eyes. While you are doing that, drink 300 to 500 milliliters of water mixed with 1/4 teaspoon of natural sea salt. But here is the warning. Do not reach for your phone the second you wake up. The artificial blue light and stressful notifications will trigger a toxic, unnatural cortisol spike that ruins your fat-burning potential for the rest of the day. And a quick disclaimer, if you suffer from severe high blood pressure, please consult your doctor before adding the salt. This brings us to signal number 2. The anti-inflammatory breakfast. Signal number 2. Sever the insulin web with an anti-inflammatory breakfast. Most people start their day with a massive biological mistake. A bowl of sweet cereal, a bagel, or a piece of toast. These fast-absorbing carbohydrates act like a violent roller coaster for your bloodstream. Your blood sugar rockets up, and then, a couple of hours later, it aggressively crashes down. When your blood sugar plummets, your brain hits the panic button. It views this sudden drop as a life-threatening emergency. And guess what it does? It pumps out a fresh, massive wave of cortisol just to force your liver to release more glucose. You are literally stressing your body out from the inside before you even leave for work. To break this vicious cortisol and insulin loop, we need to keep your blood sugar completely flat. You do this by eliminating fast carbs in the morning. Instead, you need to fuel your body with high-quality protein and healthy fats. We are talking about 2 or 3 whole eggs, a portion of lean meat, tofu, or half of an avocado. These foods significantly slow down your digestion and trigger powerful fullness hormones in your gut. If you practice intermittent fasting, your rule is simple. Stick strictly to pure water or plain black coffee. No sugar, no milk, no exceptions. The benefit here is massive. By keeping your morning insulin low and stable, you are forcing your body to learn how to burn its own stored visceral fat for energy, instead of constantly waiting for the next sugar hit. This is an absolute game changer, especially if you are showing early signs of insulin resistance. Now, let's talk about how to move your body without triggering more stress. Signal number 3. Zone 2 cardio. Signal number 3. Activate AMPK through Zone 2 cardio. Think about how most people try to lose weight. They push themselves to the absolute limit. They sprint, they do intense boot camps, and they work out until they are completely exhausted. But if your body is already suffering from chronic stress, pushing it to the extreme is the worst thing you can do. Heavy, breathless exercise floods your system with adrenaline and triggers a massive cortisol spike. You are just adding fuel to the fire. Instead, you need to train in Zone 2. This means keeping your heart rate around 60 to 70% of its maximum. When you exercise at this gentle, consistent pace, something magical happens at the cellular level. You activate an enzyme called AMPK. Think of AMPK as your body's master energy switch. It signals your cells to build new powerhouses, called mitochondria, and directly oxidizes stored fatty acids for fuel. Best of all, it does this without putting any stress on your central nervous system. Here is your action plan. Go for a brisk walk or a light, easy bike ride for 45 to 60 minutes. The ultimate way to know if you are in Zone 2 is the conversation test. You should be breaking a light sweat, but you must be able to speak in full, complete sentences without gasping for air. This approach is incredibly safe, even if you have struggled with severe weight issues for years, or if you have joint pain. But remember this crucial warning. Do not push too hard. If you find yourself panting and unable to talk smoothly, you have crossed out of Zone 2. Your body will instantly stop burning fat, switch back to burning sugar, and release more cortisol. Keep it slow. Keep it steady. But what happens when sudden stress hits you right in the middle of your workday? This brings us to signal number 4. Box breathing. Signal number 4. Hit the emergency brakes on your nervous system with box breathing. Imagine you are sitting at your desk and you suddenly receive an angry email, or your boss drops a massive, unexpected project on your lap. Your heart rate immediately spikes. That is acute stress, and a fresh, heavy wave of cortisol is already rushing into your bloodstream. How do you stop it right in its tracks? Your breath is the only physical bridge you have to consciously control your autonomic nervous system. When you intentionally slow down your breathing, you directly stimulate your vagus nerve. Think of this powerful nerve as a direct phone line to your brain. When activated, it forces your body to instantly switch out of the sympathetic, fight-or-flight survival state, and drops you right back into the parasympathetic, rest and digest state. Here is exactly how you do it. It is called the 4-4-4-4 box breathing technique. You inhale deeply through your nose for 4 seconds. You hold that breath in for 4 seconds. You exhale slowly through your mouth for 4 seconds. And then, you hold your lungs completely empty for 4 seconds. You repeat this simple cycle for just 3 to 5 minutes. I highly recommend doing this right before you eat your lunch, to prep your digestive system or the exact moment you feel anxiety creeping in. The greatest benefit of this technique is that you can do it absolutely anywhere. At your office desk, stuck in traffic, or even in a crowded room. No one will even know you are doing it. It is a completely free, invisible emergency brake that shuts down a cortisol spike in real time. But what about when the day is finally over? You can do all of these steps perfectly, but if you fail at this final hurdle, your belly fat is not going anywhere. This brings us to signal number 5, clearing brain trash and optimizing deep sleep. Signal number 5, clear the brain trash and optimize your deep sleep. So many people treat sleep like an optional luxury, but biologically speaking, deep sleep is the only time your body truly cleans house and burns away visceral fat. If you are sleeping less than 6 hours a night, a major scientific study published in the journal Sleep Medicine showed that your visceral fat increases by a staggering 27%. Why? Because chronic sleep deprivation guarantees a massive, unnatural cortisol spike the very next day. But when you finally enter the deepest stages of sleep, something incredible happens. Your pituitary gland releases a massive wave of human growth hormone, or HGH. This hormone is the ultimate armored fat-burning machine. It is the single most powerful biological antagonist to cortisol. While you are sound asleep, HGH goes straight to your abdomen and literally dismantles that stubborn, visceral fat. Here is your action plan to maximize it. 1.5 hours before your head hits the pillow, you must turn off every single electronic screen. No phones, no tablets, no late-night television. Next, drop the temperature in your bedroom so it is comfortably cool. A pitch-black, cool environment is the absolute biological requirement for your brain to produce enough melatonin to pull you down into that deep, restorative sleep phase. Let me give you a very serious warning. Do not underestimate your sleep. You can perfectly execute the first 4 signals we just talked about. You can eat the perfect breakfast, get your morning sunlight, do your Zone 2 cardio, and manage your daily stress. But if you consistently stay up late scrolling on your phone, you will completely sabotage every single ounce of your hard work. Without that vital release of HGH, your belly fat is simply not going anywhere. Now, let's put all of this science into one easy-to-follow daily schedule. Listening to all this biology, you might be thinking, this is way too much science to remember. Do not worry. You do not need a degree in biology to make this work. I have taken all 5 of these biological signals and packed them into one incredibly simple daily routine. Here is exactly what your new schedule looks like. 6 o'clock in the morning. Your alarm rings. You get out of bed, but this time you do not touch your phone. You mix 1 glass of pure water with a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt, and you drink it slowly. 10 minutes past 6. You step outside onto your balcony or go for a quick walk, letting that natural morning sunlight hit your eyes to lock in your natural cortisol rhythm. 7 in the morning. It is time for your anti-inflammatory breakfast. You eat whole eggs, lean meat, or an avocado to keep your insulin completely flat. If you are practicing intermittent fasting, you simply skip this and enjoy a black coffee. 12 noon. Right before you eat your lunch, you pause. You close your eyes and complete 5 rounds of box breathing. This clears away the morning stress and primes your stomach for perfect digestion. 5:30 in the afternoon. You finish work, and instead of killing yourself at the gym, you go for a brisk 45-minute walk or a light bike ride. You stay completely in zone 2. You break a light sweat, but you feel energized, not exhausted. 9:30 at night. The screens go dark. You turn off the television and put your phone in another room. You pick up a physical book, lower the room temperature, and let your body drift naturally into a deep, fat-burning, restorative sleep. See? It is that simple. Now, let's talk about what this means for your future. Losing belly fat, especially that dangerous visceral fat, has never been a battle of starvation or torturing yourself at the gym. It is not about punishing your body. It is a biological game of hormones, and you simply have to learn how to negotiate with your own biology. Specifically, you need to master your cortisol and your insulin. The exact moment you make your body feel safe, the moment you finally turn off that primal survival alarm, your body will automatically let go of that stored fat. Always remember this rule. True health is about understanding your biology, not destroying it. Now, it is your turn. Take a hard look at your daily habits right now. Which critical mistake is causing your own cortisol to spike? Are you staying up way too late? Are you eating fast carbs for breakfast? Or are you pushing yourself too hard with exhausting, breathless workouts? Drop a comment down below right now. Tell me your age, where you live, and what your current fat loss journey looks like. I personally read through the comments, and I will be directly advising some of the most difficult cases. If you found this biological breakdown helpful, and you want me to decode exactly how other hormones control your weight and your health, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Share this video with a friend who is secretly struggling with stubborn belly fat. I will see you in the next deep dive into the science of your body.